John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." Leadership is arguably the single most important value your organization can benefit from. But how do we incorporate it into our businesses and into our lives? How do we embody it in the workplace? And how do we develop it, not only in ourselves, but in those around us and below us as well? Because true leadership is not just about developing yourself or managing others. It's about affecting positive growth and transformation in the people you work with. In this course, we're going to show you how to do exactly that.
So there's a crisis in leadership today, perhaps one of the greatest we've ever faced. And it's all because of the leadership gap. You see, 77% of companies are currently experiencing leadership shortfalls, with that number expected to rise to 84% in the coming year or so. What that means is that the older generation of leaders at various levels of the company ladder are, well, getting old. They're retiring, they're moving on, they're dying. And thanks to the demographic winter that the developed world has been cooking up for itself since the 1960s, those leaders are not getting replaced by younger people fit for the job. Or rather, they might be getting replaced, but the picking's kind of slim. Because for the most part, it's going to be millennials filling the gaps. And I'm not here to bash millennials, but they really haven't been getting shaped into leaders throughout their lives or careers. Leadership is simply a value that's been getting ignored for the last few decades, both in business and in education. So not only do we have a situation where there's a smaller population of potential leaders to choose from, but the ones who are there don't have the ideal level of leadership skills. In fact, in a recent study, 63% of millennials acknowledged they haven't been receiving the leadership development they need in order to face the challenge ahead. For all the reasons above, a whopping 89% of company executives insist that strengthening organizational leadership is a top priority. And yet, less than 5% of businesses have implemented leadership development at all levels. Of the small number of companies who do have leadership development initiatives, only 10% of executives think that those initiatives have a clear impact on their businesses. That's right, a whopping 90% think they're ineffective. To bring this dismal briefing to its conclusion, 56% of companies are not ready to meet their leadership needs, and 71% don't believe their current leaders are capable of leading them into the future. Pretty bleak, right? Well, don't throw the towel in just yet. There is some hope. You see, for companies that do have mature leadership development strategies, the number facing a leadership gap falls to just 49%. Now let's be clear, that's still a crisis. But compared to that 77% across the board we mentioned earlier, that means that doing a good job of developing leaders can make a company 45% more likely to avoid the leadership gap and come out of this unprecedented crisis alive and well. So, with that in mind, let's dive into this training. Our course is going to consist of a series of critical discussion points. These are designed to cover this broad topic as thoroughly as possible, to encourage growth in these vital areas, and to facilitate a real and fruitful discussion within your organization about how you can each improve on these essential characteristics both at work and in your personal lives. Some of these will be pretty lengthy, and some of these discussion points will be relatively straightforward and brief. At the very end of this roadmap comes the most important final step. Discussion time. Do not skip this. This is the most important part of this training. When you finish this course, you need to spend at least an hour or so going over the questions we supply at the end as a group. Whoever's the head honcho in the group should designate a facilitator whose responsibility it is that each question is covered and that everyone, time permitting, is able to have their say. Make sure all contributions are valued, all suggestions considered, and all opinions respected. So, let's move into the first discussion point. Lead by example. Effective leadership involves showing, not just telling. If you want your employees to do what you want them to do, then you should set the tone and demonstrate how it should be done. Excluding yourself from your own rules is a surefire way to lose your employees' respect and make you unlikable. Practice what you preach, even if it's just for simple guidelines such as being professional or always being on time. Never stop improving. Great leaders are constantly finding ways to improve themselves and find new skills in areas that they can learn and master. You should be open to the opportunities that come your way to achieve greater heights and pursue new possibilities. Prioritize growth and constantly challenge your team to be better versions of themselves. Be goal-oriented. Don't focus too much on the details and always keep the big picture in mind. Create a list of personal, team, and organizational goals and come up with a definite plan and strategy to achieve these goals. Direct your team's focus and energy into prioritizing urgent or crucial goals. These goals shouldn't be static. Instead, periodically evaluate them to adjust as needed. Keep in mind that when your goals and expectations are clearly defined, your team members can better understand the end result that they're working towards as a unit. Furthermore, it's easier to monitor progress and determine failures and successes. Take responsibility. True leaders do whatever needs to be done. However, when things go wrong, you shouldn't point fingers or play the blame game. You should take responsibility for your team's actions and choices and their results. In doing this, you'll show that you're worthy of your team's trust and respect. Nonetheless, this doesn't mean that incompetent or reckless behavior from a team member should be swept under the rug. It just means that when mistakes happen, you don't assign blame or offer up a scapegoat. Instead, you identify the source of the problem, come up with a course of action to correct the situation, and prevent it from ever happening again. Be decisive. Decisiveness refers to the ability to make decisions efficiently and to obtain a specific result. Leaders who are decisive decision makers appear more credible to their team members. A fast, well-informed decision, coupled with a sense of personal responsibility, shows your confidence and effectiveness as a leader. No matter what industry you belong in, you're going to face difficult situations where quick and clear-cut actions are necessary. When it's time to decide, you should believe in your ability to guide your team to the right outcome and provide an impactful decision that aligns with your organization's goals and vision. Give credit where it's due. Don't be that boss who takes all the credit for your team's success and hard work. Don't hog all the spotlight to yourself. Be team-oriented and give credit where it's due. Effective team leaders recognize that any situation, any success, any achievement within the organization is a joint effort. Remember that no one wants to follow a selfish leader. Furthermore, it'll be difficult for you to motivate your team when the next big project rolls around, because they know that their contributions and talents won't get recognized. Be confident. Projecting confidence is not an easy thing to do. Some people are natural at looking at ease with themselves and their skills, while others may require a little bit more effort. Have faith in yourself and your capabilities, and remember that you don't need to be loved or accepted by other people to be a good leader. Be authentic. Authenticity means being comfortable in your own skin. It's never a good idea to put on a fake persona or imitate leadership styles that don't really suit your natural personality. Instead, be proud of your true self. Draw from your personal values, strengths, and experiences. By standing up for who you really are, you inspire others to be the best versions of themselves.